friend, smash that subscribe button. It really helps us out. Also, we have hundreds of videos and playlists on here for you. And then we started adding timestamps, so a lot of the videos you can jump around and get right to the information you want. And then we even started adding captions so you can pick your language. Enjoy the video. Hey friends, Shane from HowToWrench.com. If you've seen in a few of our shorts, we talked about a new carb sync tool. We're going to go ahead and dive into using that right now on that Triumph T100, if you want to show that. And what's neat about that, if you remember, actually just walk up to it real quick, is Tobias here was the customer that all our videos on the Triumph T100 carburetors are these carbs. And you said that you have not touched these at all. You just bolted them on and went with it?
Correct.
Maybe played with the idle a little? Or?
Correct.
Okay, so what's going to be fun in this video is we're going to see how well we did from bench setting the carburetors, right? So that's what's, kind of fun when you get the chance to actually do the carb sync to go, well, how good did I get that? If you haven't seen our videos, there's a cool little trick you can do with size drill bits that set it perfectly mechanically, but now we're going to tune it to the motorcycle. So with that being said, let's look at this tool and see what it comes with. So this is the SynX out of Germany. We did find US instructions in here, but you have to know that we have a sample for testing only. This isn't the production version, at least for the US, so there may be some changes that you'll see. So we ended up just throwing some AAA batteries in there, which was cool that that was an option. But when it does come here, it will have a cord where you could plug it in if you didn't want to rely on batteries. And then what I noticed about their German model is it had a rechargeable pack in here, and I could see there's an empty spot in the case for it. So it could be a rechargeable unit as well. So we'll stress, if you ever put batteries in something, when you get done with it, take the batteries out, because if those leak or damage it, and they warn it in their warranty as well that they won't cover leaking batteries. So something to think about. You'll notice it'll do up to a 4-cylinder, but it'll do just twins, you'll see in a second here, or a 3-cylinder if you get a Triumph triple or something. I'm going to go ahead and take these little stickers. Oh, no, there's no labels under here. I saw one of the versions where it had some labels under here, but we don't have those. It comes with obviously some hoses, a nice case. It does come with a bunch of manifold adapters, and it looks to be pretty extensive here, so yay to them. And then, you know what we're going to do? Oh, yeah. We're going to check the tool against itself with this little T. I was going to have to do it one at a time. We're going to do that. That's cool that it came with that. So I guess I am going to use something out of there. It has some other little adapters that maybe you need to get in somewhere, a couple different sizes, and make it easier to connect that way. But hey, let's go use this tool. So you may be wondering what I meant when I said that I was going to, actually while we're in the shop here, I'll go ahead and turn this on. So it defaults to this auto, but if I push this again, what you're going to notice is it goes to this differential one. This is where it'll really fine tune when we do the adjustment. It'll make it into smaller numbers to really dial that in. And like I said, I haven't used this before, so this is me just giving them feedback on how it works here. And then it also has the ability to check dynamically between cylinders. I'll explain more of that when we do our deep dive of this tool, but that's where you can really start to see if you have intake or exhaust leaks or valves out of adjustment. And then another one to do that is there's this graphing capability here. And if I grab the product manual, I can do a really good job real quickly of showing you why this is so cool. So if we go into features, it has this graphing capability where you could stack the cylinders, but here's why this is really neat. And we've done other tools like this in the past that have this feature as well. You can actually do it even with these if you know how to read them. So if you know what you should have for your bar and you have one significantly lower or higher, it'll start to give you some clues of stuff like this. You can actually see what would be, how it should look with the intake opening and closing. And then if you have one where it's doing something like this, it could be ignition related. You have it where the intake valve, if your graph looked like this, it would say that the intake valve, closed or not closed, indicating that you have a leaky one. And then if you have this one here, intake valve didn't close completely. So this was an example of just a leaky one. If the exhaust valve doesn't close completely, exhaust gas is drawn in. The results will be measured in reduced vacuum. It's got some neat charts in here to help you try to interpret what that graph would mean if it was doing something crazy. So if you had, like said, 3 of them that were looking good and 1 that was looking bad, or 1 versus 2 or something, you could start to have this to compare that. And we've got some deeper videos on that on the membership channel. So that's what we got. I'm gonna just get after this and try and hook this up. Oh, this was cool too. Forgot about it almost. Where you can hang this across the tank, and I just want to show it in case it doesn't show out there very well. But there's a way for you to basically set the tool across the tank with this non-stick pad. Yeah, let's go try it out. I think that should be everything we need. Switch back to auto. Boom. I think what I'll do is I'll just go on. I can see where that'd be handy. I'm used to hanging it off a mirror or something like that, so. Here's what I mean by I'm gonna test the tool against itself. I might have to get one more hose. Let's see, got 2 that'll come. Yeah, I need one more hose to be able to test it against itself. Actually, that's where this little bad boy will be handy. No, I just want a hose. Otherwise, I need 2 of those. So what those other little adapters are, I just realized, is like if this didn't match the size of the tool, then it's a reducer or an enlarger to get it to where it would match the tool. Because I noticed all those little pieces had the same size fitting on it. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm basically making up this little manifold right here to basically trick the tool into thinking that it's reading 2 cylinders. Does that make sense? So maybe just for our purposes here, I don't know how much this bike vibrates to where it might regret something, hitting a hot exhaust or something. I'll just go ahead. You'll have to tell me if you can see this good. So I'm going to go to these 2. Okay. And I'm going to stay off the exhaust, but let's look at what I got going on here. I have 2 hoses going to a single plenum, so I'd want to see those being equal. If they weren't, then I'd be worried about the tool. Now, if you do any of our deep dive stuff on the channel, we go into all carburetor synchronization or throttle body sync tools where we say it's very important that you know that the tool is good. If I go and start tweaking the manifold and the tool's, out of sync, whether it's vacuum gauges or anything, it's going to be a bad deal. You're going to actually make it run worse, right? So I'm going to trade you. I'll let you start it. Okay, you want to come back over here? Okay. Woohoo! I'd say that tool's pretty dialed, right? You want to get there we go. Make sure we're not melting on the exhaust. Yeah, I'd say that tool. So let's create a leak. So the tool's definitely working here, right? Cool. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and hook it up on the bike. I feel pretty good. Thank you. You said you were pretty happy with the way that's running. That is pretty damn dialed. Not too bad for setting it on the bench, right? No. Let's see what it looks like in these other modes. I thought I'd just pause and grab the manual real quick and show you some better screenshots from the noise of the engine running, but the manual's pretty complete. It'll definitely show you how to hook it up and use it. I thought I'd go over some of these different measuring modes and features in here. When you cycle through these buttons, what you're going to see is the ability to go from auto, which is super handy realistically. I mean, it just works great from there. And then they have what's called a differential pressure mode, and what that'll do is that'll show, I'll get into that screen right here, that'll show the difference between 2 cylinders, a measurable difference, okay? It's more like just a little bit easier math, if you will, from what I saw. You can obviously see here in the auto
what you're trying to do is target a similar number. And if you look at this example here, where it's 695 and 660, you can obviously see the graphs are not lined up with each other. And our target is to flatline as much as we can on one of these scales, okay? So in this particular example, we have 4 cylinders being displayed. And then you can toggle through that if you want to and show just individual cylinders. Another thing that you can do is look at this pressure dynamic, and they give some descriptions here where it could show intake leaks if you're off quite a bit, but the goal is once again to have stuff very even across the playing field. Another thing I wanted to point out is that this bottom number right here, this is your RPM. So it actually has a TAC capability. We found to be quite accurate with the Triumph that we were working on. And then here's a battery indicator, of course. And then let's see what else I could show you here. There's this graph. And what's cool about this is you can stack all the cylinders on top of each other, so it'll really clearly show one cylinder is acting quite different than another. So you could choose between these channels if you want to look at all of them at once, or if you wanted to look at what one graph would look like. And I think it takes quite a bit of time. It's definitely usually not the do-it-yourselfer that's going to graph this, but on a good known model, this will have a pattern that would be what you would call nominally good. So it's another good reason to do your vehicle when it's good, and give it like a burst stamp of what healthy looks like. Take a screenshot of that, stick it in your drive folder or whatnot, and then you'd know what a good graph should look like for your model. But in this particular case, all the lines are stacked and it's showing 4 cylinders all at once. And so, like I said, you can change these parameters. If you go back up here to the top here, and this button here is perimeter. And once you're on auto or diff, the dynamic or the graph, you can hit this perimeter, see what options are available. You could have either number of cylinders or range, or there's a filter option. You just have to play through those and see what's available on that screen. But with that being said, you can see a close up here. When that arrow is on that is what you're adjusting, and you can see from there. We found, like I said, the auto worked really well. We weren't quite familiar enough to realize the cylinder display on it and the difference between differential and just the auto settings. So as we get better with this, we'll know how to use it better in the future. But I thought that might be helpful for you to see some of these different displays. You can see here how it shows how you can do different resolution. And if you look here, it's really going to be a little bit of personal preference because it's not a very big screen. But you can see here how you can really choose to just have these big lines here, or if you want to put lines in between, just how fine you want to actually look at that and tune that. So it has those capabilities, and you'll figure out what's best for you. All right, let's get back into the video.
We're going to go ahead here and actually alter the carb sync. Find where he's at here. And while he's doing that, it's pretty normal because you're pushing on it. So if you can Yep, check this out. You can start to see how you altered it, right? I'll go ahead and just lift the throttle. Okay. And we can see how we're off now, right? Let's go back through the other. And I think we can, if I remember right, yeah, you could take and switch between cylinders. Go back to our 2, let's go back to those 2, let's go back to, go to that graph. Oh, that was cool, because that looks like what they said would be a normal graph. I mean, without going and comparing against the manual again, but you remember how it had that little spike and then drop down? So that's looking pretty good. And let's go back here. And if we go up and down, oh, that's switching cylinders. That's doing numbers. I can see it's doing which cylinder. And we have, oh, you know what? Check this out. Actually, let's see. Oh, we're off right now. But see how I just made it set up for a twin? So So go ahead and readjust it now. Remember which direction you turn, just to turn opposite. Keep going.
I'm honestly not sure which direction
I think you need to go the other way. It got worse. And that's the great thing about this. If you're going the wrong way, you just... I'm going to blip the throttle once. Let off the tool. Go, now you went like a little too far and we can hear it, so back it up a little. A little more. You're really close. Oop. Just right there. Yep, right there. Now let's hit that differential. Looks like you might want to tweak it a hair. I'm trying to figure out how we... Okay, this is where it's showing how much do we want to graph, like how fine do we want to get it. See how you're just dialed there right now? And then what I always like to do is flip the throttle. Go ahead. And what they'll do when you flip it is just allow everything to reset, and that way if there's any stiction in the throttle cables or anything in there, it's going to show itself, because you're going to go, wait a second, I was just perfect and now I'm not perfect. So let me go back to auto. Man, that is great. Can you see that? Fantastic.
So these are the two numbers that I'm looking at?
Yeah. You got 40 and 24. You got that one that's hunting a little, but watch, it'll drop to 24. See, it's kind of blipping.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens if you give it just one more tweak. And I think you need to go clockwise.
Clockwise?
Yeah, just barely tap it. Oh, right there. Good. Right there. Didn't seem to change. It's still doing that. Okay. I'm going to switch back to that differential and see what I see. Seems like you're getting worse, so go the other way. Go, right there. Just a hair more. Right there. No, too much. Did you feel that last little... We're splitting hairs here. Yeah, bump it a little more, just like you're doing. I love it. Right there. Can you give it one more? Oh, yep. Yes. So we're at that point. Let me go back here. We're both just dancing on that little bit right there, right?
Both dancing back and forth.
Yeah.
I feel like it's about...
You have gas on? Nice. Let's go ahead. Well, that's pretty cool. I like the little weighted strap as well. That's pretty cool. Well, we definitely got some more things to learn about this tool. Like, one thing I want to learn more about is being more confident when I'm in that differential zone where it allows you to really like break it into smaller numbers to fine tune it. What I'd like to be able to do is to be more confident to go, okay, push this button once and this button 3 times or whatever to get there. But that's pretty cool. I'd say that's definitely a win. That was quick.
and especially if you had multiple cylinders to get in there and then just dial them in. But yeah, hey, we want to thank SynX. This looks like this is going to be a pretty cool tool to be added to the shop, and we're going to make another video here in the near future doing a fuel-injected GSX-R 750 where we'll do the throttle bodies on those. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure and like, share, and subscribe. Make it a great day, and keep wrenching. Hey friends, we're super excited to announce that the How to Wrench channel has been approved for memberships. What's that mean for you? What would it look like if you could get member-only content? Many of you have been asking over the last year as we've put out surveys and tried to get some feedback that you miss the old deep dive long videos and the real explain content. Those are very hard to produce and they're very costly. They take an immense amount of time, especially to make it creative and interactive for you to get that deep understanding. We have a lot of schools, institutions, do-it-yourselfers. I mean, really people from all over the world in over 200 countries are using our content to get a deep understanding to help themselves or to advance in their career. Well, those videos are coming back. That's the kind of content that's going to go membership channel because we can offset some of those costs. So that's one, you're going to get the deep dive videos. Two, you're going to get access to member-only streams and live chats to where you can actually call in, ask questions, and get answers on the spot and have a back and forth Q&A session with other members as well. We're super excited about that. And with the member channel, it's going to really make it more intimate. We're going to be able to bring that back into more of a community instead of all the yahoos out there that are just causing trouble and being idiots. This community has always been about helping each other and getting those answers to the questions we need. You got to remember, I love YouTube too. When I learn something, it's quite often one of my first go-to places to get information or to learn something that I'm trying to do. So we love that we can do this for you, as we just want to make this a community that is more attentive. We want to be more relationship focused. The other thing is, YouTube does this, I think it's kind of funny, but we're doing the emojis. So if you're a new member, it's going to be a green one. We kind of went along the lines of like training does in most certification programs. Bronze is your entry level, silver is your middle of the road, and then gold, top certified. But we added one more. We added a red one just to say, hey, thanks for all the love after you've been here for a while. So for all you that love that kind of stuff, hey, it's there for you. What else are you going to get with this? What you're going to get is really, honestly, in my opinion, it's really a way just to say thank you. We've tried really hard over the year to figure out creative ways to not beg, if you will, but to try and encourage and remind people that, hey, I got a full-time job. Like, I do this, always done this on my own buck. All these expenses are my own. As I move to a new location, Phoenix, it's really expensive. It costs a lot to do all this, and we really do need your help to offset some of that. So this is a way for you to really easily just say thank you and create that, like I said, that deeper relationship with us as well to get the answers that you want and you need. So with that being said, I hope this has caught your attention. Options below on the join. You hit that join button, it'll tell you what tiers. You can figure out what works best for you. We're already going to start moving forward, making content that's member. So I hope that you're working on something that's mild, or that you're getting through it, or that's making you money. So we're going to get back at it. But as always, make it a great day and keep wrenching.